Hey there, Stackers. Welcome to a recording of the Stacky Benjamin Show. Normally here, you would have the intro for the show, but we don't have it. So we're going to be adding the intro later, and Doug's going to do it live. You're going to get a live. Oh my God, I got goosebumps, everybody.
We'll do it live.
You're going to get a live open, which is only going to be used here today for the YouTube audience. And I've been told by Tina, we're going to add the full sound effect one later on. So you have to pretend, number one, that this is mid-December because we're recording our last episode of December. And remember, and Doug will tell you this again later, everybody, when we get to the trivia segment, please, 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 because you're going to be competing with other people that are in the audience. You don't want to give them the answer. You want to make sure that only the person you pick has the right answer. So please, please, please do not share the trivia answer when we get to that section.
I am going to ask you to put something in the chat, but not the answer to the trivia.
Yes, this will be a participation show. All right,
everybody
Doug,
gets a medal.
You ready? Everybody gets a medal. All right, you ready to do this?
Show.
Here we go.
Can you do the ba-da-dum-bum, ba-da-da-da-bum? Live from the basement of the YouTube headquarters, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and as we wind down 2025, it's important for us to ask, what could we have learned from the events of this year? Today, we'll ask that question of our roundtable contributors so you can manage your money better next year by learning from history. But that's not all. Today, we'll also wrap up my year-long trivia challenge. And now, a guy who's wrapped up all the holiday cheer and placed it right into today's podcast, it's Joe Saul-Sehy. One take, baby.
And of course, it's the one that the fewest number of people are going to hear. Hey there, Stackers. Happy holiday season. Happy Hanukkah. We're right in the middle of it. Happy whatever you're doing this holiday season. We're so happy to be here with you with one of my favorite episodes of the year, which is, as Doug so succinctly said, 2025 lessons for a better 2026. Now, if you had interpreted that as 2025 lessons, they're just lessons from 2025. So to be clear there, but we have a group of roundtable participants who are helping us say goodbye to 2025. And let's start off with the gentleman across the card table from me. Mr. OG is here. How are you, man?
I'm full of Christmas joy, obviously.
You are absolutely full of Christmas joy because of the fact,
as you can tell in my glowing.
Well, seeing how it is the day before your birthday.
It is not the day before my birthday, but that's cool.
It's 4 days before his birthday.
It's neither that.
Before your birthday.
It's not 4 days before my birthday either, but you guys are good. You're in the ballpark, and that's all that counts.
Is it 2 days before?
I'm not going to tell you.
Does it happen this year?
Has it already happened?
Have you
or is it still yet to happen? That is the question. What's the over-under on OG's birthday? I picked December 19th.
This is what happens when a bunch of dudes decide to figure out like somebody else's birthday. Like can we even figure out our own birthday?
All I know is that I could have 10 more birthdays and still not catch you guys. So that's all that matters.
Easy. Somebody who it feels like it's our birthday every time we get to spend a podcast with her. Paula Pant is here.
Well, once we have OG's birthday, we'll be that much closer to stealing his identity. Date of birth, right?
That's right.
Date of birth. I'm just going to need your mother's maiden name, last 4 digits of your social.
Interestingly enough, it's Snuffleupagus.
OG, for today's trivia question, what was the name of your elementary school?
And the last 4 of my social are 6767.
Your porn name is your childhood pet's name and the street you grew up on. Go.
And how are we making all the jokes without this guy?
Actually,
here?
That's a really good porn name. Bosco McKinley.
Wow.
Is that not awesome?
That is good.
And the Bosco McKinley of this podcast is here.
It's gonna be my new Twitter handle. Find me at Bosco McKinley and subscribe to my
Kramer.
OnlyFans.
You call me Bosco, right? I mean, come on.
Just
Come
call
on.
me Bosco. What would that make your porn name, Jesse?
What would it? Harry Longwood.
No, it's not. That's
My
not
dog's name, and then the street I grew up on, Harry Longwood.
There's no way that's real.
I'm sorry. Harold Longwood Avenue. If we're being Longwood Avenue would be my last name, but
To you, it's Harold. Yes.
correct.
Mr.
Right.
Longwood.
Well, guys, we got a great show today because, as you can see, we are
Ain't
fired
getting any
up.
better than
because
that, just so everybody knows.
It is our last roundtable of 2025. And we always have a tradition here at Stacking Benjamins in Mom's Basement. We look back on the year, we go, what were some of the events, either personal events or events that were global? Maybe events just in the city where each of our contributors lived, whatever it might be. And how can our stackers all learn from those events? So that's what we're going to cover today. So grab a piece of paper, think about whatever your events are. If you're hanging out with us on YouTube today, give us some of your events as well. We'd love to cover as many as we can do in the next hour. At the halfway point, because of the fact that Mr. Jesse Kramer is the winner of our year-long trivia competition between our three contributors, you know what we're doing today? We are involving our YouTube audience in today's trivia question. So we're going to ask everyone a question, our contributors a question, and we're going to have them pick one of our YouTube viewers, stackers. Let me do that again. We're going to have one of our YouTube stackers that each of our contributors will pick, and they'll play for a chance to win a huge prize, Doug, that we'll share later. But first, we have a couple sponsors who help us keep on keeping on. We're going to hear from them. And then Paula, OG, and Jesse are going to dive into the events of 2025 that we can learn from and maybe have a better 2026 because of it. All right, let's start off with, let's go to Paula. Let's go ladies first. So Paula, either from your own experience or from just the news, what's an event in 2025 that maybe we can all learn from?
So I think one of the major stories of 2025 is seeing how AI played a bigger and bigger role in the world, and in doing so encroached upon many more jobs in a more threatening way than a lot of people had, I think, anticipated, even as compared to what people were thinking in 2023 or 2024. And so diversifying your skill set at work and prioritizing the human connection, human relationships, things that a machine cannot or AI cannot replicate. I think that is a major lesson of this past year.
It's funny, Paula, because I made a list and I had to fold it over so I don't show everybody on YouTube my second one. But my first one, if you can read my sloppy handwriting, says AI advancements.
Ooh.
That was like the top of my list too, because that truly was a huge thing this year that I think, Jesse, there's a bunch of lessons there, even beyond what Paul was talking about.
He's muted.
And Jesse's muted.
It's the best way to have Jesse.
My bad. I don't know if I'm nervous or more excited about all the changes that AI is bringing to the workplace. But yeah, just to second Paula's thoughts. I mean, certain things that we all do at work are likely going to become so much easier that you could just say, oh, AI is going to replace me in that aspect of what I do. So I've heard a lot of people talking about identifying those things that are either unique to us or just uniquely human, and trying to, double down or just make sure that we are bringing value to the workplace in those areas. And then, kind of adopting AI where we can just to become more efficient in the other areas.
Yeah, it's funny because it's been a lesson with any advancement, OG, that I know you and I have gotten a lot of coaching from this group called Strategic Coach, and everybody's always afraid of the next thing, right? This is clearly something where a lot of people have lost their jobs. You on board with fear and excitement, or just excitement?
I mean, I don't have any fear of AI except for the downfall of all mankind in just about everything, everywhere. So other than that, I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
As
If
long
you
as
don't
we've
mind
got like
planes
Arnold
dropping out of the
Schwarzenegger.
sky, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as we've learned to teleport and we can come back from the future to shut down Skynet before it takes over and launches the nukes, that would be fantastic. No, I mean, this is not a new thing. There has been advancement in the job market and industrial and medical and everything since the beginning of time. Like many years ago, you used to just take a piece of metal and dig in the ground and plant your own stuff. And then you hooked it up to a bunch of animals and then they did it. And then you got rid of the animals and you had tractors that did it. And, and now we have faster, bigger tractors that do it. And now we can, what I mean? Like this has been going on since the beginning of time. Everybody tries to improve, the efficiency of different things.
I think
So
I
the
remember.
challenge,
Yeah, episode 1, you guys were talking about using the wheel,
yeah,
right?
well, they
How
were,
to
yeah.
how to use the wheel
They
in your
they
day job.
started it.
Wow.
They were there when it was created. I was a kind of a second generation wheel. Wait,
Well,
I don't know. Anyways,
I apologize. I could take a second to rename today's
and I was a third
podcast
wheel.
Jesse's Last Appearance.
yes. Yes. It's been
Paula?
very nice knowing you, Mr. Kramer. But the and so people poo-poo this and say like, oh, it's going to take jobs. It's like, well, but that's what everything has been trying to do since the beginning of time. If you own a business and you have, the opportunity to make more widgets for a lower price, and you want to figure out how to do that, whether that's improving the efficiency of the people who make the widgets, or if it's investing in a machine. Look at what McDonald's. I went to McDonald's a couple of a month ago, for the first time in a long time. There was nothing there. It was like a little counter. There was no people. There was one person who would like go to the back and get the bag and put it up front. There wasn't like the whole, cadre of people. You went in, you ordered on a screen, and you stood there, and somebody would walk up with a bag and go 81, and you'd grab it and walk away. I don't know how the food was being made. I don't know what happened there. I didn't probably save any money, but I bet McDonald's is making some more money doing it. And if you're a shareholder of McDonald's, you're happy that they're doing that because you're getting a little bit more profit. So there's a balance obviously between people's jobs and that sort of stuff. But if you're stuck in that, or if you're at the spot where you're like, oh crap, my job might go away, you should probably get after it.
Which of the consulting companies this year, this is another related headline, said publicly about how much money they were able to save by using AI, and then their clients started coming to them going, well, we hired you, so really shouldn't we be the ones getting the savings? I don't remember which company that was. Was it McKinsey?
I don't remember seeing that.
I don't know.
I thought I remember KPMG, but I
Yeah, it could have been KPMG.
But it was one of the bigger ones.
But I thought that was great. The consultants needed to shut up and go, oh man, not as much.
Look at how easy my job is now with AI. I don't have to like do anything.
I just paid $225 an hour for that kid who just graduated from college last week, and all he
Put my
did was
stuff
use
into Perplexity.
ChatGPT.
US Aussie is hanging out with us and said they had the same experience, OG, at a movie theater where there's now, just everything mechanized. Paula, it also strikes me though, since you brought this up, that another thing that I saw this year, I was surprised to see how many different ways people used AI, some incredibly creatively that we would have never thought about, but other ways I think that are just a huge mistake, because I get the feeling a lot of people using AI don't understand how large language models even work. And so they're asking AI to do a ton of stuff and coming out with these horrible results because they really don't get what's behind the machine.
Well, I think that AI can sometimes give outputs that seem so confident and seem so well formed that you forget that it might be hallucinating. And so Just like Doug might be hallucinating.
Wait, is that Doug? You're hallucinating, or you got results where it was hallucinating?
No, that's pretty much how I've lived my whole adult life.
Which just hallucinating.
Just sound like you know what you're talking about. Everything's kind of foggy all the time anyways, but if you can just put up a good front.
Be very confident about it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to have those occasional reminders, like don't get legal advice from AI, don't get medical advice from AI. You can try to have some educational conversations with it, but know that this is a what's the word for a narrator? Not irreliable.
Morgan Freeman.
It's the unreliable.
Unreliable. Unreliable. Know that it's an unreliable narrator, prone to hallucination.
Well, and we had Robert Farrington on earlier this year, and Robert was talking about how often it gives bad financial advice because when it's looking at the world of personal finance, it's going to look at the web and go, okay, 95% of the answers are X. And if something just changed last week, you're going to get the wrong answer. I know we did during Black Friday week. We had guests telling us that people were trying to use AI to find Black Friday deals. And maybe you can create a prompt that gets you there, but the chance that you're going to hallucinate on that, trying to find a deal that is only for a couple days is going to be so like you're asking it to make mistakes.
My favorite was because I put AI on here too. So I tried to cheat because I don't like doing homework. And I was like, I'll just put this into ChatGPT. But I was thinking about it and I thought, okay, well, what are the themes of 2025? And then I said, when is your last like updated narrative, like memory? Like, where are you current to? And it was like, oh, I can talk about anything till October of 2024. I'm like, oh, hell. Like, you're way off, bro. Like, that's, it's like it's an unreliable narrator who has hallucinations that's been in a coma for 12 months. Like, there's nothing good about you. Like, you can't use contemporary information.
Like the Legend of Sleep. It's Rip Van Winkle.
Exactly.
It's like Rip Van Winkle hallucinating.
Yes. Well, and I'm wondering too. I mean, look at the number of things we saw in the news about AI just getting it wrong. Like Paula, you brought up, don't ask it for legal advice. I mean, there was a famous headline about that legal team that clearly used ChatGPT or one of the AI systems, and it was making up case law. Like it just made up all this stuff that didn't even exist. In fact, I was wondering, OG, if when you looked up ChatGPT, if it said number one was AI. Like, if we super confident for AI.
I didn't put it in there because the first thing, my first question was, where are you? Till.
Yeah.
But I went to a couple of them and they're all like late 2024. So anything that's happened literally this year is not current in terms of its information. So there was something I mentioned in the preamble to this, that I got selected for tickets for Banana Ball at Kyle Field in May. So I get to like try to get some tickets, and I got selected to try to get some tickets. I don't. Maybe I'm over excited. But
it used to be you might get tickets. Now you might get tickets.
Now I might get to buy tickets. Yeah.
Right.
But when I put it in Google, because I was like, is this a real email or whatever? It literally, how Google has an AI summary. It literally was like, there is no confirmed information about the Bananas playing at Kyle Field and College Station anytime in the future. And I'm like, the link above it was from Texas A&M's athletic department that said, great news, Banana Ball at Kyle Field, May 2nd, 2026. Like Google hadn't even got to that yet. It hadn't indexed it enough, or there hadn't been enough searches, or however the hell that works behind the scenes to make that a relevant outcome. Google still thinks, there's nothing. So my lesson for AI is it's a starting point, not an ending point.
I think that's great advice. I subscribed to Masterclass, and I took the Masterclass on this. It was really good. So if you have Masterclass, take the Masterclass, because the thing you talk about, OG, is know where they call it the jagged edge. And the more I've used AI, which is now a bunch in 2025, it's amazing how much I've used it this year. You truly know when you hear some of the searches, some of the searches people are doing, some of the prompts they're using, you're like, oh, you're asking it to be wrong. There is no way that that's going to work well for you. Let's keep you here, OG, and hear what your big event of 2025 might be that can help us with a better 2026.
Mine was AI. Do I have to have more?
Well,
No,
and,
I'm just
and
kidding.
that's it, everybody. On to Jesse.
And scene. So I've got a personal one that I'm going to use that one last. Got two tied for two. There's an easy one. There's I think they're both easy layups. I'm going to say diversification still matters, from an investment standpoint. At the beginning of the year, and I would say even for the last probably 10 years, it's been really hard for an investor to rebalance into areas outside of large US tech. Whether you mean that as the S&P, your S&P fund or whatever, but specifically in international and emerging market, going like, hey, this is an area of the economy that we still should participate in. And even though, Nvidia is kicking everybody's butt right now, we should still rebalance. And at least as of when we're recording this, international has beaten the stocks off of the US market. And at the beginning of the year, if you would have said, hey, I got a great idea, let's put all our money in international, or let's up our international allocation, people look at you like you had three heads, or I got a bonus, I think I want to put this all in the market, what should I do? Oh, let's put 30% in international. Be like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I have 30% in Nvidia call options, 200 for November of 2025. Maybe let's do that. So I think is just another great example in conjunction with the other layup that I'm sure somebody's going to have of diversification matters, and time in the market is the most important thing. So keep it simple.
Jesse, and it strikes me because, you talk about investing quite a bit, and we had to do 2 shows this year reminding people not to sell off your international. Like when you start seeing at the end of 2024, is international dead forever? That to me represents a buying opportunity in whatever the dead asset class might be.
Yeah, I mean, it is just funny. I was just talking to someone today about sometimes the hardest times make an investment decision also in hindsight end up being the best times to have made a particular investment decision. And this was in reference to the tariff tantrum, which maybe we can come back to later. But yeah, there's so many times where, John Bogle would say that an iron law of investing is reversion to the mean, which would mean that when a particular asset class is kind of like at its worst, at its ugliest, at the time when you'd think yourself, ugh, like why would I ever want to buy that thing? That's probably about the same time as when it's going to start reverting back to its long-term average and will end up being an outperformer in the future years. And vice versa can be true too, which is that when certain stocks or asset classes or whatever are at their sexiest, that might be the time when they're also overvalued and are about to revert back down to their long-term average. So, I totally support everything OG just said about, maintaining a diversified portfolio, accepting the fact that at any given time, some of the things you own are going to be losers. And yet when you zoom out to the long run, it's one of, if not the smartest way to approach your investing.
Paul, it strikes me that, at the end of 2024, we had the international thing that we just talked about. But on the other side, you covered crypto this year. Look at the rundown in Bitcoin, right? I mean, all the people going, just load up, back the truck up, and this thing's going to the moon.
Yeah, and I mean, really, the story with crypto this year was a story of volatility. Like we saw huge gains, and then right, and then you're like, man, why didn't I short it, right? And so, but the story is not. You can confirmation bias that in either direction, depending on where you stand on crypto. And the fact that you can confirmation bias it no matter where you stand shows that the true story is simply one of volatility. And I think that's, another lesson of 2025 is like volatile asset classes are are going to stay volatile. And often, when a volatile asset class is really skyrocketing, it's tempting to believe that it is safer than it actually is, because you want to believe in the optimistic narrative.
All these numbers, OG, on increasing debt in the country, and we just covered AI and in the innovations. Julie here talking about the innovations like we talked about earlier with movie theaters and companies and all kinds of AI business reforms that have happened. The all of that, does that mean that 2026 also means cash as an asset class more important than ever?
I mean, for what?
Just because you don't know if you're going to lose your job, you don't know what's coming around the next corner.
I mean, no, I don't think it's any different than any other period of time. Why would you all of a sudden start suddenly piling up, cash because you have a feeling that what, the market's going to take a crap or whatever. I mean, listen, if you think that you're going to lose your job and you've got some pretty good indications that that's the case, then yeah, you probably should, squirrel away a little bit. But
so you're not saying that cash isn't important. You're just saying there's no difference this year versus other years.
I mean, you could
keep your emergency fund.
If I gave you the bullet headlines of Q4 2011 and said, based on this, like, how do you feel about the beginning parts of 2012? You'd be like, oh, crap. Economy's going to crap. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. We got all this crazy going on. The politicians are nuts. The stock market's stupid high. It's at an all-time high. We're, probably going to crash. You'd say that every time. So if, if you have some personal knowledge around something, right? My company is going through massive layoffs at this level and below, and I'm at that level, and I'm a, middle of the road employee. Should I have more cash? Yeah, you probably should. Like, if that's where you are, right? But if it's like, I feel that the economy is going to take a crap in the next year, like, I mean, it might. And somebody said something about confirmation bias. It may come true, and you'd be like, I knew it, but that doesn't make it true. That doesn't make it's going to happen. And if you do that all the time, the downside of this is that every single time you think that you know something, you're going to do the thing that costs you more in the long run. What was it? Peter Lynch's favorite thing of, more people lose money preparing for bear markets than actually in bear markets, so
yeah.
It's, yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. That's part of the deal. So I wouldn't have any extra cash just because, stock market's at an all-time high and politics are crazy and the world economy is, in shit.
It's funny. I saw a headline recently from the late 1800s, and somebody said that if you took out the names, it looks, and the
president shot,
right.
America to go to war,
right.
Uprising in the West. It's so, like, you're like,
many
oh,
reasons
crap.
to worry. Right. The only difference was there were no references to cars yet. Jesse, let's have yours. What's a good lesson from 2025 that could help us with a better 2026?
Yeah. So the one that I put down that's not AI related, let's talk about the tariff tantrum, because I think
there it is.
And maybe it's going back to OG, and one of the big lessons coming out of it was diversification. But I just thought to myself, especially kind of living through it, hearing stories from, the stackers and clients and stuff like that. It was such an interesting time. Such a sharp decline over a few weeks, and the narrative out there was so bad. And then such a sharp rally, and really the rally has more or less continued up until this recording, the last couple of weeks or something like that. But it was just what a perfect little microcosm of some of the tribulations that long-term investors have to suffer through in order to eventually get that reward that they're all seeking. That's one.
And just, Jesse, for our stackers that didn't pay attention to the stock market, that closely,
for the 11 people who didn't know,
it went down very, very quickly.
Yeah,
and everybody said it was going to be the end of the world, and this is it. The game is up. The rest of the year is going to suck. And how long did it take it before it started rebounding? 2.5 weeks.
I mean, for what it's worth, from the top in mid-February, to the very bottom in April. It was something like 6 weeks, and it was
There you go,
almost a
6 weeks.
20% drop.
Sure.
Right. And then it took to recover, it took about another 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks to recover back to a new all-time high. But then if you zoom in even further, right around the moment when President Trump made his, tariff announcement, that was something like, a 10% drop, 12% drop in 2 days, something like that. And we had a couple days in there, if you remember, that were like an 8% down day and then a 7% up
Right.
day. So it was super volatile, right? Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I wasn't invested myself. You guys were, and you have memories. You have memories of bear markets that lasted more than a year, right? And that's it's just interesting that like nowadays maybe we're all dopamined up so much that 6 weeks of negative stock performance really hits us. Whereas I think we ought to remind ourselves that it could last much longer in the future.
Is that like the third old guy reference there, Jesse?
Might have been the fourth. Your memory might be failing you.
Wow.
You teed it up for him, Joe.
Dude's a legend. Just what strikes me, Paula, is if you did nothing, let's say you're saving to your 401k and you're dollar cost averaging into your exchange traded funds or mutual funds, you did nothing. You actually made money on this deal because you just kept automatically putting money in. You actually made money while other people were panicking.
Exactly. And that is a story that repeats over and over and over, right? We could have said the same thing 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Dollar cost averaging and not paying attention to the headlines is the strategy that over time has proven more times than not to work as compared to market timing. So, I think it's counterintuitive because in almost any other field, effort tends to be commensurate with reward, in athletics or in, uh, pursuing anything and
Advancing in business.
Yeah, growing a business, learning how to play chess, like cooking, learning how to cook. In almost anything else, effort, reward, go in lockstep, and investing is one of those extremely rare fields where, for the average investor, the average retail investor, that simply isn't the case.
It's funny. There's two ways to look at this, OG, and I'm wondering which one you ascribe to. Number one is just don't care, don't know, keep investing. Or number two is follow it closely so you can see the machinery running, but have the perseverance to not do anything. Which one's better, knowing and not moving, or just don't pay any attention?
I think that for 99% of the people, the battle that you don't have to fight is the best battle. And using Jesse's example of the tariffs, if you looked at your March 31 statement from your custodian, and then you looked at, never mind your April 1 or May 1, but then you looked at your June 1.
Yeah, once a quarter.
And you would look at that and go, oh, okay, good quarter. That's what your reaction would have been. You would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. It would have been so blasé. If you looked at your statement on March 31 and then April 30th, you would have went, kind of a crappy month. Not the end of the world, but well, whatever. And I think that for most people, the default action is to try to do something with their money. Yeah, I mean, you just have to look at every single solitary headline in all of America all the time says the same thing in just different words. It says, how do I react to blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's tariffs. How do I react to tariffs? Oh, there are no tariffs. How do I react to there are no tariffs? There is a peace deal in such and such a place. How do I react to it? Oh, the dollar is down in value. How do I react to it? Oh, gold is up. How do I react to it? Bitcoin has gone down 30% in 3 months. How do I react to it? Everything is, how do I have a reaction to this thing, which is the least productive thing that you can do, which is what Paula was saying. You can't get better at this by doing more of it. You get better at it by like literally going into a coma and having your dollar cost average work. So for most people, for most people, not having to fight the demon of like every single day trying to, it's like the addict, right? You know, when I quit chewing tobacco, I didn't quit chewing for the rest of my life. I quit going into gas stations because that's where I bought it. And I was just like, if I just don't go inside a gas station, I'm going to eliminate 99% of the chances. And for the longest time, I never walked into a gas station. Now it doesn't cross my mind. I don't even see it. But
Where do you
like
get your
taking
beef jerky?
I know, taking away the opportunity for you to have the emotion and the doing the thing, like having to fight the battle. Don't be an alcoholic and go to the bar every Friday night with your buddies. Don't fight the battle. Like, why would you want to do that? Just be like, I'm going to sit at home, you know? And if you say, well, I'm the type of guy that would never change my investment thesis. Bullshit. If you get hit in the head so many times, you're going to friggin' change it. You're going to do something. Well, maybe I'll just do a little bit of NVIDIA.
It was always when I was a planner, my clients that told me I never panic. The ones who were adamant that I never panic.
Say that.
Always the first ones to call me, OG. They were always the first ones.
It cracks me up so much. I go, then you're like, I panic. like I don't want, like I've been doing this almost 30 friggin' years. Every time it goes down 20%, you know what I think to myself? God dang it, man. I'm so tired of this. It's so soul crushing. You know, I have the same emotions as everybody else, just a bigger scale of them, you know, bigger responsibility maybe. And it's like, just don't put yourself in the thing. Like, look at your money once a year. I guarantee if you measure backward in that way, you're going to be way, way, way. Even in 2022, if you're an investor, it's down 20% and you dollar cost average, you put your money in, like you normally do. Just by doing that, you would have had a better experience in 2022 than if you knew every single day what was happening.
First thing a diet coach tells you, just get all that crap out of your house.
Yeah,
you know?
don't leave it in the fridge and go, I just won't eat it. You will eat it.
Like putting stacks of donuts around Doug's house and tell him not to eat any. Like it's
the marshmallow drill from kindergarten.
Not gonna go well. At the halfway point of every show, can't wait, by the way, to hear your second ones. We're going to have everyone have one more in the second half of our lessons from 2025. But at the halfway point all year long, we had this wonderful competition won this year by the Jesse Kramer, who Jesse, how many times did you have to cheat and get it like right on to make sure that you won?
5 or 6. 5 or 6.
AI
5.5, I think. I think the half point. The coalition victory half point there was one as well.
The coalition victory. First half point in Stacking Benjamin's history. We are going to do something different today, though, Stackers, because of the fact that competition's over. We can't not have a competition. So for our friends hanging out with us as we record this, you're going to want to pay attention to Doug because we're going to do some audience participation on this one. Doug, what do we got for today's episode? Hold on a second because I forgot to pull it up.
Well,
Okay, I got it.
We're good?
We're good.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Well, hey there, Stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. And right now we're thinking about 2 things, the holidays and mo money. So let's combine both with this simple clip from a film you've probably seen before called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And if you're one of the Stackers hanging out with us on the YouTube Live while we record this, in the chat, we want you to write down which roundtable contributor you think will get the answer right. And if a Stacker correctly predicts the name of our roundtable contributor who gets today's trivia answer correct, well, Joe, tell them what they'll win.
Well, Bob.
Nope, you can't do it.
Well, Doug.
To throw his voice only.
Sorry. All right. Well, Doug, I have a stack of books that I've used to get ready for some of our amazing interviews, like the incredible Hannah Cole's great book, Texas for Humans, sitting right here, that I don't have an unlimited sized house. So it is, I need to move these. So I barely have scratched it. So it's all for you. We've got about 50 books on a list and you can take them, and I don't care. Regift them, give them to people you know that are going to
Tell
love
everybody
this
it's
stuff.
a brand new book, and you were thinking of them.
Yeah.
It's a brand. Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell
Regift it
you,
like we're about to do.
it's a gently used book. Yes. Which I know you're all excited about, stackers. All right. People are starting to say who their people are, but it's right. Christmas. Hold on. Yeah, Doug.
To be fair, is this National Lampoon Christmas Vacation trivia?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So remember, you're not writing the answer to the trivia in the chat for the 1000th time. No, you're writing the name of the contributor you think will get it right. Will you be brave enough to pick Paula? Paula, have you even Paula, have you even seen this movie?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
She hasn't.
Oh, come on. Have you seen this movie?
Will
I
not
don't
deny.
know, Margot.
I plead the fifth.
All right, will you pick Mr. Holiday Cheer himself, OG, or will you pick Harry Longwood, aka Jesse Kramer? You get one pick if you're hanging out with us live, so pick while we play the clip. Roll it, Joe.
We're going to have a wonderful Christmas.
I have a delivery for Clark W. Grisman. I was supposed to deliver it yesterday, but it fell between the seats, and I didn't see it. I'm sorry. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Is it your application to the Nut
Can't
House?
believe it.
What is it? A letter confirming your reservation at the Nut House?
It's from my company.
Your bonus.
My bonus.
Open it, Clarky. Open it.
Yeah, I hope it's a porch, Clark.
That you do, Eddie?
Bet you do, Eddie.
Oh.
I was afraid of this.
Are you going to bawl all over it, or are you going to open it?
Oh, I was going to wait till tomorrow to tell you all this, but what the heck? With this bonus check, I'm putting in a swimming pool.
That's it. That's the big one.
Open it.
I'm sorry if I've been a little short with everyone lately. I've been waiting for this bonus to make sure the pool goes in as soon as the ground thaws. I had to lay out the money in advance, and until this little miracle arrived, I didn't have enough in my account to cover the check I wrote.
Tear the sucker open, Dad. Yeah. Drum roll.
There's enough left over. I'm going to fly you all down here to help us dedicate it.
I can't swim, Clark.
I know, Eddie.
That, Eddie. Hey. Oh. Hey.
Oh. Clark, what's wrong? Honey. It's bigger than you expected?
You're on mute.
Doug's on mute. Ha ha ha. He doesn't know how to podcast.
You should stop talking more than you do. So, is the bonus more than Clark originally thought? Today's question, what is Clark's bonus? Specifically, I'll be back right after I find out from Joe's mom what this year's bonus is for helping frost the snowman cookies.
All right, we need everyone then. We got guesses in for people and contributors. Go look through the list, and we're going to pick somebody. Each of our contributors is going to pick somebody. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, Paula, you're going to be playing for a contributor. Which contributor would you like to play for that said they want to be on Team Paula?
I would like to first make a statement and then make a request.
Okay.
First, I would like to make the statement, as you all have seen, that my hands have been in the frame the whole time. As you have been watching on YouTube, you'll notice, and this is very intentional, hands up in frame whole time that played. I just want to make a note of that. All right.
Before I pick the person.
I was writing my card.
This gets better for everybody who said Paula at a time. They're like, oh crap.
All right. And I would, with that statement made, I would like to make a request because I am notoriously the dark horse candidate here. The long shot, but there are no improved odds. And so my request is they're the two people who, against all odds, have both said that they want to be Team Paula. Carlos.
We did have two that picked Paula no matter what. What's going on here?
Yes, Carlos Ospinoza and Daniel Mayen.
All right. Well, you know what?
Both of them be Team Paula.
Because these people are Cousin Eddie in this skit. I can't swim, Clark. I know. Maybe my favorite line of that little clip. Okay, we'll do it for you, but we're not doing it for the other two guys. OG, who are you going with out of all the people said OG?
How about I'm gonna go Patrice.
Patrice is Team OG. Congratulations, Patrice. And Jesse.
Yeah, it's a tough pick. A lot of choices as I scroll through. A lot of choices. Gonna go with user 55717 though. They're calling my name.
User 55.
Speaking your language.
717.
They are.
Yes.
They are.
It's amazing because user 5517 does not know that was your parents' first choice for your name when you were born.
Correct.
A lot of people
The
don't know
dog was
that.
named Harold, and I was 55717 for a little bit.
It was pretty wild. All right, everybody has written their guess, and Doug, what is the answer to today? Well, I think I have the answer to today's question, don't I? Or do I?
Hold on. All right. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey there, stackers. I'm Cookie Froster, but never frosting eater. Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. Earlier, we heard a clip from Christmas Vacation featuring Clark Griswold, played, of course, by Chevy Chase, receiving his year-end bonus. But what did he get as a bonus? Was it enough for the swimming pool? Was it enough to fly his whole family out to dedicate the pool? Well, let's listen.
Smaller? What is it?
It's a 1-year membership in Jelly of the Month Club.
Oh, God.
Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
That it is, Edward.
That it is, Edward.
It's the Jelly of the Month Club, Doug. Which means I think we have to see who what our contributor said. Let's start off with Jesse. Jesse, you said
I wrote down $15,000.
15. Have you never seen Christmas Vacation?
No.
He has never seen.
I was born after the year 1900. I haven't seen it.
Jesse, I know you say that with a lot of contempt in your heart. However, I strongly encourage you to watch it with a full attention to all the dialogue.
I've heard I'm a dummy for not
just
having
bang,
seen
bang,
it.
bang. It's like Arrested Development in terms of its like one-liners. You can't keep up with it. It's really good.
There were
Maybe this
3 in that
Christmas
clip.
will be the
I know
Christmas.
there were. Yeah. I want to hear Paula's. Did you think more or less than 15,000, Paula?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Paula's holding hers up. I can't wait to see the big.
I would like to make a note that this notebook has also been in frame since before we played the answer. So everything is fully in frame. I would like to.
It's not looking good.
As
It
you
is not
all
looking
can
good.
see that from YouTube, everything is fully, literally above the fold.
All right, OG.
It's a 1-year membership to the Jelly of the Month Club. Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
This is
As he's
absolutely
quoting the
OG's favorite movie.
quoting
It
the
is
movie.
100%. I don't think we've only watched it probably about twice. Well, as we're recording this, twice this year, but we will watch it no less than 100 times between now and Christmas.
It is so fun. Every year we watch this movie. All right. And Paula, you're disappointing two people here. Paula, turn it around. Let's go.
It's the Jelly of the Month Club.
Hey!
What?
How did you get that, Paula?
Oh, MG, I will never reveal my secrets.
What? This is the one movie that she's watched?
I wouldn't
She
go that far.
memorized it?
Paula, have you seen this movie?
I have a T-shirt at my house that says
Thank you to those of you who took
haters.
the wild card bet.
So that means user 55717 got totally screwed on this deal, but
Totally
OG,
did.
who was playing for Patricia Arquette, Patricia gets to pick some books, right?
I believe it's
and
Patrice. Yo.
Patrice, right.
Put on your reading
look,
goggles, your spectacles.
And
Douglas.
Paula was playing for Carlos Santana and Daniel Boone. They both get to pick books, right?
Patrice, Daniel, and Carlos, write me, joe@stackingbenjamins.com, and just say, hey, and I will send you the list. And if you're able to do it today, because of the day that we're recording, I'll see if I can get them out tomorrow before I go on a little trip for the next couple days. But congratulations, Paula. Your knowledge of pop trivia is pretty incredible.
Paula has a shirt that says, I don't know, Margot. No, she doesn't get that part of the joke. Of the
Nope,
movie.
I guess not. Not that much pop trivia.
I'm pacing myself. I'm pacing myself here.
All right, let's deflect. Let's go in reverse order. Jesse, what's your second lesson from 2025 that we can learn from?
Which one do I want to pick? Maybe, okay. Financial planning. Financial plans need to be dynamic. And one kind of big story, but maybe kind of small story, or at least it doesn't affect everybody, was just the way this big, beautiful bill came to be, the changes to some tax rules, ACA healthcare premiums being a big one that I think maybe some stackers out there are dealing with. In fact, one stacker, Paul, who we know and I met for the first time at FinCon this year, wrote to me and kind of explained the way that based on his income in his kind of early retirement years, how much his ACA premiums would be changing due to the big, beautiful bill. So I just think there's a really interesting lesson there about, your financial plan. You might sit here today, or you might sit there on day one of retirement and think the way that the next few years, decades are going to go for you, but it's a dynamic thing, and sometimes that change is triggered by government policy.
Yeah, it's funny, OG. It strikes me in an earlier episode this quarter, we talked about how kind of funny it is whenever the government says this one's permanent.
I love it. I love it when people say that. It makes me smile because I know I have some job security.
It 100% is. How do you deal with that? We talked earlier about the emergency fund. People now are getting, government agencies are saying that we're going to see most probably premium increases on your health insurance for 2026. How do you?
Not most probably are, and by this time everybody will have already enrolled. So hopefully you've already
seen it.
I think the biggest thing, by the way, I mean, ACA doesn't work like this, but in other areas, I think the biggest thing is ask for a better deal. I was talking to my kids about this because my son was recounting the car purchase story when we bought his car. And he's like, I just don't understand why, with cars, you go to the grocery store and it's some milk's $5 or whatever. You don't go up to the cash register and go, I'm thinking $4. You just scan it and you pay. He goes, but he's like, you sit down with this guy, the sticker says, 20,000, and you go, I'm not willing to pay over 17. The guy goes, I can't do, but I can do 19. Yeah, I can do 18. I can do 18.5. He's like, why don't I just say 18.5? And that's what you're going to pay. And that'd be the thing. He's like, I don't understand that. I said, well, the funny thing is that everything is like that if you just ask. Most things. I shouldn't say everything. That's a broad generalization. But we got our health insurance quote from our agent. And the only thing I said, he said, do you have any questions? And I said, I have one question. Is this the best price? And he goes, yeah, it's a big increase. Let me go back and ask. And 2 days later, he came back and he goes, we lowered it. You know, it was a 20% increase. We got it to a 15% increase. Still an increase. It still sucks, you know.
But still that 5%. That's not nothing.
But you know, it's compounded, right? It's like,
yeah,
it's like your house, you know, when you get your house appraisal and you say the first time when I get my house appraisal, I'm not going to fight it because it's in the ballpark, but it's off by 2 or 3%. Well, that off by 2 or 3% for a 20-year time period is going to compound into lots of money that you're going to pay in taxes that you could have just said, I think the number's a little lower. Just ask, you know? But the question was more about like, how do you adjust for this in your plan? And the reality is just like Jesse said here, you know, financial planning is we're going to point the boat in the right direction and we're going to start rowing and then we're going to make changes. So the plan that you make today is not going to be the same plan that you have in 5 years from now. It's probably not even the same plan that you have in 2 years from now because, you know, life happens and it comes in different ways. You know, it comes in different ways like, hey, surprise, you're having a baby, to like, hey, surprise, you're losing your job, to, hey, surprise, you got promoted and you're moving across the country, you know, or you're moving back home because you got to go take care of your parents. You know, there's all sorts of different things that can pop up in your life. And, you know, the best you can do is just take the information that you have, make a plan for it and row the boat in that direction and then reevaluate.
It's funny, Paula. I really like what OG said earlier in the first half of today's show about the stock market and just, you know what, don't pay attention, right? Just don't pay attention at all. But it also strikes me, if you weren't paying attention at all to the fact that price increases might have changed with your health insurance going into 2026, like that could blindside you big time. So is there a line there where, okay, I listen to the news, but when they turn on the stock market news, I shut it off?
No, I mean, I wouldn't think so. Like, uh, even the news about health insurance premiums increasing, that didn't break until very shortly before open enrollment season began. So it wouldn't, you know, we even if you were carefully watching the news and you heard that the moment that the story broke, that still would not have given you a good adequate amount of time to um, save up the cost differential, you know. So I don't think the answer there is necessarily paying attention to the news. I think it's having a margin of error within your budget so that you can account for the unexpected. And sometimes the unexpected comes in the form of car repairs or veterinary bills, but sometimes the unexpected comes in the form of just higher premiums or, you know, and people, this right now, the discussion is health insurance, but we've seen this with car insurance. We've seen this with homeowners insurance, flood insurance, particularly for people who live in disaster prone areas. So, you know, we've seen the same story play out in many different forms.
I think it's just another reminder. The big thing I always hear from people is I hate change. I can't stand change. And change is the only constant. Like, there will always be change. So learning to get comfortable with change, I think, is a really important lesson from 2025. Paula, let's stick with you. What was on your list?
So I think the story of the housing market this year was really interesting because there are a couple of lessons from it. One is that this is actually, so in some ways, the opposite of the last lesson. Change can happen very slowly. I think people were hoping for bigger interest rate declines this year. And we went for the bulk of the year without any interest rate decline. It didn't start, the Fed didn't start lowering rates until relatively late in the year. And, and even when they did start lowering rates, I mean, that didn't necessarily move the 10-year treasury, which means that mortgage rates didn't move in quite the way that people were hoping, even after the Fed funds rate dropped twice. And so I think that, the counter lesson is that change can sometimes happen very slowly. And we saw that in mortgage rates this year.
Well, and I think that the key here, Jesse, is that people were hoping for that to change, and hope is not a plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough
Hopium.
situation. Hopium.
Hopium.
That's true. They're all hopped up on hopium. I mean, I consider myself one of them where I really would like interest rates to go down so I can refinance, but we made the housing purchase up front, knowing that if interest rates never go down, we would still be fine. Right. And I think that's one of those, like, you kind of have a little barbell strategy to these financial decisions, which is, in the worst case scenario, you're still going to be okay. And in the best case scenarios, you're going to be great. Or at least, at least that's one way of approaching, building in conservatism into your financial plan, into your financial decisions. I do think conservatism sometimes can go way too far in the other direction, but all else being equal, having a little bit of conservatism in there really helps. But yeah, I think, as far as what Paula's comments were, I think that some people learned some interesting lessons this year about the different relationships that along the interest rate curve. And that just because the short end of the curve changes doesn't necessarily mean that your mortgage rate or that mortgage rates across the country are going to change.
Can we talk for a second, guys, about this new product now? The idea of the 50-year mortgage, OG?
What would you like to talk about?
Well, I mean, this was presented in 2025. What are your thoughts?
It is an awful idea. That is my thought. Which one of you guys posted something or sent me a picture of something about the grandkids having to co-sign for your housing, because they're gonna inherit the loan? Like, this is beyond stupid. And I think this has a lot to do with, and this is going to be like old man yelling at cloud for a moment, but I think this has a little bit to do with like FOMO stuff. And for some reason, everybody seems to compare their beginning to everybody else's middles, and it's like, and I've seen it for two generations. So I saw it when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I see it when the next generation's in their 20s and 30s, and I hear it just, in the dialogue. And I'll be interested to see when my kids get to that age to see what happens. But and I'm not saying that it's not different, because I understand that it is. But I remember when I was like in my 20s and 30s going like, I'm never going to be able to buy a house. These housing prices are crazy. Like, what is going on? Like, stupid boomers have all the property and they're not selling it. And like, you know what I mean? Like, that was going on when I was in my 20s. And now it's the same thing. I'll be 48 this year, sometime between now and the end of the year. You guys don't know when, but it's happening. And, and you hear the same stuff. It's like, all the old people have screwed up the housing market, and, you guys got all the cheap money and all that sort of stuff. I'll never be able to buy a house. It's like, well, because you're 28 years old. What, like, you don't get to have the $2 million big giant house at 28, bro. Like, I worked my ass off for 30 years to be here, like but you see that. And I don't know if that's just social media having a lot to do with it, or like what the, why that is. And I know that there's other things. And so I'm going to get a bunch of hate mail. People are like, you don't understand what it's like to be like, whatever. I get it to some degree, but, stop comparing like the beginning part of your life to somebody else who's like 50 and has been saving money their whole life, and, and investing and that sort of thing. It's like with that attitude, you'll never have $5 million in your investment account either. It's like, you don't start there. You start with zero, and you have to do the thing for 25 years, Oh yeah, somebody said 100,000. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Bob B. Wayne says people were freaking when housing prices hit $100,000 back in 1990.
And I'm not saying that inflation hasn't had a negative effect on this, or interest rates.
Sure, and that there's some areas like the Bay Area where it's just crazy.
Hit a friggin' home run by the fact that I got to refinance in COVID for 2.5%. But I, and this is on the show, I talked about this then. I didn't do 2.5% for 30 years. I told everybody take the 2.5 for 15 years, because that's a better deal in the long run. Like, you get the rate and the term, and you can knock this stuff out. And so, yeah, I'm sitting here 7 years into it, or 5 years into it, having paid aggressively with 7 years to go on my mortgage.
Well, we got you in the spotlight, OG. You've got the last one.
Oh, Jesse's got some. Hit us,
I was
Gen
gonna
Z. What do you
say,
got, bro?
I'm trying to be a better what's the
Oh, we haven't
improv
done
where you
Jesse's
say
yet. What am I talking about?
No,
where
Sorry,
you say
man.
yes
No, you did
and
his.
no, we can do whatever, but it's the yes and where it's like, OG, on the one hand, I see what you're saying where I think there is some sort of, whether it's social media causing all these comparisons and accelerating people's timelines to get to certain places in life. And when I look at the Case-Shiller home price index or the all transactions house price index, all of which are indexed for inflation, they are also at all-time highs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which
Right.
I think,
I
so
think
it's both. It's both. It's a yes and for me.
I think it is for all of us.
Yeah.
Should see the prices of. Never mind.
All right. Do you
Go
got
for
the?
it. Say it.
Do you got the last one here, OG?
Yeah, I got one. This one's a little touchy feely because you guys are talking about like what happened in 2025, and you said personal, so I was thinking about the stuff that's happened to me personally. And we had, my oldest graduated high school in May, and for the better part of about 10-day period, we had both sets of his grandparents here. We had aunts and uncles, we had cousins, and not everybody stayed at the house. Most people were staying at hotels. In fact, I think everybody did. Mostly because I didn't want to argue about like who was sleeping on the floor versus the mattress versus the blow up bed versus why do I have to sleep on the stairs again? It's like get a hotel. But I think about that quite a bit in the context of a few things. Number one, like if you have kids and you're like in the middle of the suck where it's like all the chaos is going on, and whether it's diapers or middle school where there's drama, or it's high school and there's never ending activities going on, this ends, and it ends with just an explosive ending. It's like busy, 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 stop. There is no ramp down. It stops and then your kid goes away. So even though it kind of, you feel like it might suck a little bit, like embrace the suck, because like this stuff ends and it ends viciously. And then the second thing was I really love the fact that we got to spend so much time with our nieces and nephews that we don't live close to. We had a bunch of people in the house. We had parties every day. It was beautiful weather. The most exciting thing for us was our nieces and nephews. Most of them showed up not knowing how to swim and left swimming because they just spent all day, every day in the pool, and you can't help but learn how to at least float. When you're, they're not Olympic class athletes, but they managed to like not die while they were in our care. And that was a little bit of an accomplishment, but again, more about like just family time, and like, those times come by few and far between. And I know a lot of times people get stressed around the holidays, like, oh my God, grandma and grandpa are coming to town, it's chaos, or all the cousins are coming, or I don't feel like doing this stuff. Like, tomorrow's not promised to everybody. And there is nothing better than hanging out with the people that you care most about, or that care most about you. And if you can pull that off, or if you can spend a day, or you can spend 2 days this holiday season, with those people around you, like that's the best thing in the universe. So I get it that travel sucks. Airplanes are awful. The weather delays, the American Airlines can kiss my butt, all that stuff, right? Rental cars screwed you. All of that sucks. But hanging out with people that you care about is the most important thing. And if you can do that one day or a day and a half more or something, it's super awesome. So I look back on this year and I see that as a big transition for us, or at least a third of a transition for us. And I love this time that I got to spend, with my oldest, and now he's off to college, and when he gets home, that's cool. But I also like the time that everybody was here collectively. So anyways,
I think that's a great place to leave it. I think a big lesson there is that I've learned over time is that it's saying I'll be happy when these other conditions happen.
that's right. Yeah.
Is a mistake. Like I always show up me. And so embrace where you are. Love that. I think it's a great ending point for this end of the year roundtable episode. OG, let's stick with you. It's your birthday-ish weekend. So any big plans?
Absolutely. Of course. It's getting crazy, the OG house. Didn't you get your ticket? I mean, you got DJs and fog machines and all sort of stuff. You had to...
Apparently, Doug, I'm going to use OG's line. Apparently, we weren't invited. Apparently, we weren't invited.
Again this year.
Weird.
Yeah. Just, wow.
Because
Jesse
you know why? 'Cause
Kramer.
he likes to spend his time with people that he cares about and that care about him. So we don't make that list.
Jesse,
Sucks to suck, Doug.
Jesse, thank you so much for being on this last time. I thought it was great.
This was a great year. The one and done. It was a one and done year. I had a lot of fun.
It was
Out
a
with a
great
bang,
year.
Jesse. Nice knowing you.
I got to say, Jesse, in all seriousness, it was a fantastic year having you aboard the team. And thanks for all your contributions this year. What's going on at the Personal Finance for Long-Term Investors podcast?
Well, the feeling is mutual. Thank you. Thank you all for having me. It was a lot of fun. It was a great year. And while I'm talking about how great your podcast is, what a perfect time to tell you what's going on at my podcast, right, Joe?
Right.
No, if stackers go over to the podcast feed right now,
Shots fired.
they will see a yet to be recorded, as of this recording, but I'm looking forward to recording it, episode. It's my past, present, future Christmas spirit episode that I stole from either you or
Copycat.
Charles Dickens. I'm not sure which, but I go on. I have a unique thought process in my head for how I'm going to record it, and I think it's going to be a really fun episode. So that's what listeners can go over to and listen to right now.
That's fantastic. The more the merrier, Jesse. It's a great idea.
Good one. Good one.
Paula Pant, another fantastic year hanging out with you. Thank you so much for giving us the gift of your time and expertise. What's going on at Afford Anything to round out the year?
On the Afford Anything podcast. So we earlier in the month we had some great interviews. We aired William Vanderbloemen talking about working how you're wired. We aired David Bach talking he's best known for Don't Buy Lattes, but really we get deep and we get philosophical, and it's a long conversation and one of my favorites. So all of that aired in early December. Around the week of Christmas, we aired Greatest Hits Week. So that's some of our best from the archives. And then coming up soon, as we go into New Year's, we always, every New Year's, do like a retrospective on 2025 and then a look ahead to 2026. And then we also have One Tweak a Week, which is our annual how to make tiny tweaks. Once, just a little thing that you can do 1 week, 52 tweaks. You can do one small thing every single week. Make that your New Year's resolution for 2026. These are micro tweaks, but they add up.
It's fabulous. And that is all coming up and happening at the Afford Anything podcast.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Stackers, for hanging out with us. Our friend James in Boston says we need fewer OG travel stories this year, and probably more Joe travel.
Wait, what?
He got exactly
OG
James,
travel stories.
James, I think you got the desired reaction.
The fuck are you talking about?
All right. We got to go because I got to go travel somewhere, which I never do.
Yes.
Doug,
Joe is busy.
You got it from here, man. What should we have learned on today's show?
Well, Joe, first, take some advice from OG. The evolution of efficiency is a wheel that just won't stop rolling. Better figure out how not to get run over. Second, as Paula said, life has a funny way of changing very, very slowly. So take a note from Jesse. You might sit and wait for mortgage rates to be lowered or for your TGI Friday stock to go to the moon. And while hopium is a powerful drug, hope is not a plan. But the big lesson, don't ask Joe's mom what her big lesson was in 2025. She said this new thing called Napster is going to crush the recording industry. Yeah, Ma, you're right. Totally nailed that one. Go back to sleep. Thanks to Paula Pant for joining us today. You'll find Paula's wisdom on the Afford Anything podcast wherever you're listening to us now. You know what? Because it's Hanukkah, I'll also give you the gift of a link in our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com. Thanks to the Jesse Kramer for hanging out with us today. You'll find his amazing personal finance for long-term investors podcast wherever you listen to finer podcasts. What the heck? You talked me into it. I'll also share that link on our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com too. And finally, thanks also to OG for joining us today. Looking for good financial planning help? Head to stackingbenjamins.com/OG for his calendar. Show is the property of SB Podcasts, LLC, copyright 2025, and is created by saul-sehy. You'll find out about our awesome team at stackingbenjamins.com, along with the show notes and how you can find us on YouTube and all the usual social media spots. Come say hello. Oh yeah, and before I go, not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamin Show.
What was that? It's called the medium sketch. The medium sketch? Yeah, it wasn't rare and it certainly wasn't well done.